All right, we thought the Section 8 freeze was over, but now payments are delayed in even more cities. I posted a video a week or two ago talking about this delay in certain cities, but now we're getting a list of even more cities that are getting affected. And this is rapidly turning into a nationwide landlord crisis. So if you're a Section 8 landlord or thinking about becoming one, this affects your bottom line. You need to know where it's happening and what to do, and then which cities to actually go out there and invest in. So in this video, we're going to talk about some new developments, underlying problems, the real consequence, what you need to do right now, my take as an investor, where you should be investing, and then we'll end the video. Before we get started though, 90% of you watching these videos are not subscribed. Hit that button so that you can get more and more videos like this and more Section 8 updates or other real estate investing updates around the country. Let's get into the video. So first, new developments. More cities are getting affected. Here's the latest. Philadelphia, landlord reports month-long payment delays, and many are getting no answers from the housing authority. In LA, multiple owners say their Section 8 rents are delayed 3+ months, even after passing inspections. In Miami-Dade, we have admin overwhelm. Project-based vouchers recently opened briefly, but tenant-based payments are now suffering. In New York, obviously, delayed payments this February after federal funding freeze. Payments are now slower and triggering landlord concerns. Obviously, New York is going to be a difficult one to deal with just because so many people. Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, Housing Authority passes new vouchers and is facing funding shortages, so rent payments are faltering as well. So there's a couple underlying problems about why this is happening and why this is spreading. Number one, the HUD funding freeze and proposed cuts is really taking its toll. Even though these are just proposed, they haven't even happened yet. The House budget threatens a 43% slash in rental aid. So I think a lot of these cities and counties are kind of like already kind of working on this. They also had like a lot of issues already with the HUD and the funding that they were getting. So they're already tight on funding and tight on budget. And they're just kind of like running around with chickens with their head cut off right now, saying like, what are we going to do if we get another 43% slash in funding when we need even more funding right now? We're already tight. So I think that's why we're seeing all these freezes in all these different cities and a lot of issues happening in large metros around the country. Also, staff and system cutbacks. Many departments are under-resourced and overwhelmed. And this has been happening for a long time. That's why there's so many delays with Section 8. Some cities take 3-4 months to even get a Section 8 tenant in there. And some people that are applying for Section 8, it takes them months and months and months to even get approved for a voucher, sometimes years to get approved for the voucher. And that's why some cities also just don't even allow or accept new vouchers. Other thing, number 3, is rising costs. So inflation means vouchers no longer stretch, and they're straining local budgets because we've had such high inflation. It means the vouchers had to go from $1,200 to $1,500 to be competitive. Where's that money coming from? Most of that money is coming from the government, and so they have to go to the federal government to get more money, ask for more money, and they're already like at budget or over budget, right? And they have to ask every single year. More and more money is going to Section 8 tenants. Also, federal policy changes. A recent administrative freeze disrupted payment pipelines in multiple regions, which is crazy. So the real consequence of what's happening is that landlords are without checks and they still have to pay for mortgages, utilities, maintenance out of pocket. And if you put a new Section 8 tenant in place, you got to budget for a couple months of non-payment because a lot of these cities and states were taking for the last 5 years, months to give you your Section 8 rent. But now that might be even longer. You might have to wait even longer for that first rent check, and you're going to get a huge check in month 4, 5, 6. But it's going to take more time. So that means you as the landlord investor, just make sure you have a little bit more reserves, okay? Tenants, some face eviction threats as landlords walk away despite source of income protections. I think a lot of tenants right now too who have been on the wait list are probably just saying screw it and one, move to a city that does have bandwidth for Section 8 if you are low income or you can get Section 8. And I think also for tenants too, like this is making it really, really challenging to go out there and find a nice place to live, especially with so many budget and constraints across the entire country. It's probably really tough for tenants right now who need this kind of assistance to actually go out there and get it. And so if I were one of you guys, I would go ahead and try to find cities that do have great policies in place for Section 8 that are going to protect their tenants, which is probably going to be some blue states. The other consequence is just a system breakdown. Like as these delays continue, as landlord confidence collapses, fewer accept vouchers, affordable housing can evaporate. I don't think that's going to happen, but these delays are just getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and more cities are getting affected. So I think just like the more bottlenecks we push onto the system and then we have cuts on top of it, It's a recipe for disaster. So what do you need to do right now? If I were you and I was a real estate investor, I would contact your local housing authority where you're currently investing. Ask them how they're doing with backlogs and timelines, or just try to find some news articles about it right now. Document everything, keep your signed leases, inspection approvals, proof of compliance. Just make sure you have all the documentation needed to make sure that you're doing your part as the owner. Build reserves. Instead of 60 to 90-day delays, which you normally would do, budget even double that. And just make sure you have enough cash in the bank for reserves. And I think it's also a really good time to buy right now. Like with all this all to me is just an opportunity. So don't look at it as a negative thing. This is an opportunity to go out there, invest in real estate, buy rental properties, rent them out on Section 8, because a lot of people are reading these headlines, watching these videos, and they're getting scared. Those people who go out there and actually take action are going to be the ones that make money. All right? Diversify your tenant mix. If you have a portfolio of 100 units, don't make 100% of them Section 8, make 80%, 60%, 50%. Just change it around and change different cities that you're investing in. I hate when people have their entire net worth in one city, one property, two properties. Diversify. Diversify across different cities, across different counties, across different tenant classes, neighborhoods, zip codes, all that kind of stuff. Just completely diversify your real estate portfolio, and this is a great sign of that. Other thing is pick your markets carefully. Like where you're going to be investing the next 6 months or 12 months is super, super important. So pick your markets carefully. You don't probably want to be investing in a completely red state. You probably want to be investing in like a blue or, a state that kind of changes both sides, blue and red. The reason why is because the blue states, in my opinion, I think are going to be the ones, especially if you're like pro Section 8, want to do Section 8. The blue states are going to be the one that pick up that 43% slack in federal funding. The blue states are going to be the one where those states actually come up with enough funds to make sure everyone is taken care of, right? So my take as an investor, it's not just a local problem. Section 8 should, and the reason why you probably invest in Section 8, should offer stability. But when they fail, that stability turns into risk. So you have a couple different choices. Pray this blows over, or take control. Vet the housing authorities, plan for delays, protect your portfolio before another stretch of unpaid rent hits home. I think also just like choosing the right market to be investing in right now is super, super important. Do your research, do your homework, make sure the city you're investing in, if you want to do Section 8, is not encountering any systematic issues. Just make sure it's just like, hey, they're a little bit slower or this or that, but not like we have paused all applications. We are not paying rent until this X, Y, and Z. Like, just make sure that you're investing in the right cities and right neighborhoods in order to still get that Section 8 rent. And this is also a great time. There's so much inventory out there right now. Like there's so many more sellers than buyers. It's converted into a buyer's market. Interest rates are pretty good, 6 to 7% interest rates, tons of inventory. And then with this whole kerfuffle with Section 8, it's a really good time to get in there and start investing. If you do want to invest and you want to partner up with me to buy rental properties, apartment buildings, and you are accredited, so you make over 200 grand a year, click link down below in the description. Would love to partner up with you to buy apartment buildings. We're working on a couple deals right now and would love to get on a call with you. So if you want to book a one-on-one call with me, click link down below, completely free. Let's get on the phone call and chat. With that being said, thanks for staying till the end of the video. Comment below, where are you investing right now? What are you doing with your money? Like this video and please subscribe so you get more future videos like this. Thanks for staying till the end. See you on the next one.